Hey there, everybody. It is Crystal Green. Today is June 9th of 2021, and I'm catching up on my Bible reading here at our campsite. You might hear a couple of vehicles passing by, but hopefully all you get to hear are the beautiful sounds of the birds, the trees, and all things that God has put on this fantastic planet. Second Chronicles chapter 31 through 33 is what I would have read on the 7th. Quote, "But Hezekiah did not respond appropriately to the kindness shown him, and he became proud. So the Lord's anger came against him and against Judah and Jerusalem." Second Chronicles chapter 32 verse 25, and this is of the NLT version. Listening to it here on the way to our campsite, and all I could think of were manners. That was important to my parents as I was growing up, my grandparents, my elders in my family, saying yes sir, no sir, thank you, no thank you. Very, very, very adamant in my family as to responding appropriately and respectfully to others, whether they were older than you or not. And manners, phrase used to be manners maketh the man, right? And I believe that is really something that Hezekiah was missing. He forgot what was important. He forgot to offer respect. And respect is very important to utilize. It allows you to recognize what is important, what you have already received, the blessings that you're unaware of. I will be practicing my manners a little more often too. Yesterday would have been reading of Second Chronicles chapter 34 through 36. Quote, "The prophet Jeremiah composed funeral songs for Josiah, and to this day choirs still sing these sad songs about his death. These songs of sorrow have become a tradition and are recorded in the book of Laments or Lamentations." Second Chronicles chapter 35 verse 25, and this is of the NLT, and this is an old find, something I had highlighted in my online Bible as well. Started looking at back, and yeah, there's still a very important place for songs of sorrow, recognizing the things that have happened, but also looking towards the future for hope. Songs of sorrow is still important. And Josiah's reigns and acts of devotion. I like that in my Bible and Bible reading in the past, it recognizes, okay, this information not documented in the books of blah, 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 to recognize all that they have reigned, but in this section, it talks about the acts of devotion that Josiah had also done. And this points directly back for the biggest one, or the most recent in the writing, which would be that giant Passover that he made sure to have happen. Very cool. Now, reading yesterday that I found was the king of Egypt had installed Eliakim, the brother of Jehoahaz, as the next king of Judah and Jerusalem, and he changed Eliakim's name to Jehoiakim. Then Necho to Jehoahaz to Egypt as a prisoner. Second Chronicles chapter 36 verse 4. So the names in the Bible are really important. I mean, Hebrew names are usually action names, or names that represent something specific, right? Not just, hey, I saw this and I'm just gonna name my child as. Your names were a purpose. In fact, remember, there were baby book names to understand the meanings behind names from the past. I remember looking up names for my daughter and ended up not even going with something like that. But I digress. Here we go. Changing of the name equals like a new claim or being changed internally. And it used to be the names of naming with a purpose, such as Abraham was Abram. But when he changed to Abraham, it means the father of multitude, right? Jacob meant cheater or deceiver. However, Israel, which God named him later, which is God's people. And being that Jacob was a leader, he was the leader of God's people. So through four of the ones that I remember very specifically that were changed by someone else, I believe it was Nebuchadnezzar. Forgive me if I'm quoting it wrong, but these names were given by God, which was Daniel, which meant God of judge, right? God is judge. However, when he was renamed, it was to Belteshazzar, which was the chief deity of Babylon, a totally different meaning. But Daniel did not go by this name. He went by the name that God had blessed him with. Hananiah, gift of the Lord, versus Shadrach, which is the command of Aku, the moon god. Mishael, or Michael, depending on how you want to pronounce it, but Mishael, who is what God is. Versus Meshach, which is who is as Aku, which is another deity. Interesting. Shadrach is the command of Aku, and Meshach was Aku, who is as Aku, and Azariah, which is Jehovah helps, versus Abednego, who is God of science and literature. So they stayed on the path of God. They stayed on his will. In fact, that's how they got through the fire, right? Another in the Fire, that was a popular song. But they stayed on his path and chose to eat as he ate, chose to go with the diet, chose to walk still in his light. And these things that they continue to do changed the viewpoint. I mean, the king at the time was amazed at what was done, how they had grown. The guards over them were amazed and impressed on how much knowledge they had, how smart, how swift, how healthy, how beautiful really they were. Beauty, not just physical, but beauty from the inside. Those were all attributes of God, right? Those are all attributes of God because they had God within them. So today's reading is Ezra 1-3. Quote, and they sang responsively, praising and giving thanks to the Lord. Quote, for he is good, for his mercy endures forever toward Israel. Then all the people shouted with a great shout when they praised the Lord, because the foundation of the house of the Lord was laid. But many of the priests and Levites and head of the fathers' houses, old men who had seen the first temple, wept with a loud voice when the foundation of this temple was laid before their eyes. Yet many shouted aloud for joy, so that the people could not discern the noise of the shout from the noise of the weeping of people. For the people shouted with a loud shout, and the sound was heard afar off. Ezra chapter 3, verses 11-13, and that is of the New King James Version Bible, which I was able to actually open up my Bible today and physically read the words, not just listen to them on the trip here. First thing I see is the fourth word in this, responsively. Saying, responsively, praising and giving thanks to the Lord responsively, whether that is of you singing, whether you're giving thanks in your native tongue. I have a friend who first language is American Sign Language, and when I see her singing and she is signing, that is outstanding to me. It brings a whole new beauty to singing his praises and giving thanks to the Lord. If you need to put your hands up in the air, do it. If you are laughing and singing and jumping for joy, just make sure you're not knocking somebody over in the process, but don't restrain your praise. Remember, he is who you are praising, not those around you. He is who you are giving thanks to, not those around you. Your praise, your prayers, your singing are for him, not those around you. That is who you are leaping for. That is who you are dancing for. That is who you are waving your arms for. Whether it is holding the little teacup because you're thankful that he is filling your cup, or you're holding the big screen TV with your hands outstretched, whatever the case may be. It's not those around you that you are trying to impress. It is he above and around you and within your heart that you are singing praises for and to. And the wept with a loud voice when the foundation was laid, that's kind of intriguing, because I start thinking, was it because they were sad that the old is gone, that the ways that they did it, because they did it this way before, because this is how we do it and we don't change? Is it because that new is coming that they wept? Is it because they felt it wasn't good enough? Is it because they were no longer needed in the role that they had been? Are they grieving this portion as well? I don't know. I mean, I'm not a theologian. I have not gone to seminary school. This is about what I'm learning, what I understand, what I'm delving through for my own personal insight. These are questions, though, that I'm asking. Why are they so upset about this old way being gone? And I start thinking, we're comfortable in our past. We're comfortable whether it is a good past or a bad past. We're comfortable. However, for a God that's always doing something new, always refreshing our spirit, changing our name to increase our growth, changing who we are as a person for the better, right? Not because we're not good enough, but because we're growing, right? We don't keep a baby as a newborn for all its life. We grow, we live, we stumble, we get scratches and bumps and bruises. You know, if we miss a stair, we fall down a few. But that's all part of growth and becoming anew. So with this new foundation, a new church is coming. I mean, granted, we got a ways until the New Testament, but the King is coming. The new is being done in us each and every day. So continue on with my Bible reading. I shall. And I hope that you continue on with your Bible reading as well. Keep going. Thank you for letting me join you in this virtual space. Vacation or not, keep going. May your day be blessed, and tomorrow you wake up with some sunshine in your heart, whether it's outside or not. Let it be in your heart. Thanks.